Commander Jake Miller walked out of the council chambers with anger burning in his chest. The massive doors closed behind him with a loud bang. The sound echoed through the empty hallway of the Galactic Council building. His team followed close. Behind him, Dr. Lisa Carter looked worried. Captain Ben Rodriguez had his hand on his weapon. "They threw us out like garbage," Jake said through his teeth. His voice was quiet, but full of rage. 20 years of peaceful talks, 20 years of following their rules, and this is what we get. Lisa shook her head. The Zephyrians planned this from the start. They wanted any excuse to attack Earth. She carried a data pad with all their diplomatic files. None of it mattered now. Ben looked around the empty hallway. "We need to get back to our ship fast. I don't trust these aliens not to arrest us." The three humans walked quickly toward the docking bay. Their footsteps echoed off the metal walls. The council building was huge and cold. Strange alien symbols covered the walls. Jake had always hated this place. It felt like a prison. They had come here to defend Earth's actions. A small human mining colony had been attacked by Zephyrian raiders. The colonists had called for help. Earth sent ships to protect them. It was the right thing to do. But the Galactic Council didn't care about right and wrong. They only cared about power. The vote wasn't even close, Lisa said sadly. 47 votes to attack Earth. Only 3 votes against. She looked at her datapad again. The Altarians voted against the attack, so did the Kepler Union and the Free Traders. Everyone else wants to see us punished. Jake stopped walking. Punished for what? For protecting innocent people? For standing up to raiders and pirates? His voice got louder. These aliens talk about peace and justice. But when we actually do something just, they call it a crime. Ben put his hand on Jake's shoulder. Save your anger for the fight that's coming. Because there will be a fight. They reached the docking bay. Their ship, the Liberty's Edge, waited for them. It was small compared to the alien vessels around it. But Jake loved that ship. It had carried them safely across the galaxy many times. As they walked toward their ship, a tall figure stepped out from behind another vessel. Jake's hand moved toward his weapon. Then he saw who it was. Ambassador Keth Vol of the Altarian race stood before them. His body looked like it was made of blue crystal. Light seemed to flow under his skin. His eyes glowed with a soft white light. The Altarians were old. Very old. They had been traveling between stars when humans were still living in caves. "Commander Miller," Keth Vol said. His voice sounded like wind chimes. "I must speak with you. It is urgent." Jake looked around the docking bay. Other aliens were watching them. "What do you want, Ambassador?" Keth Vol moved closer. His crystal face showed worry. The Council has made a terrible mistake. They do not understand what they have just done. "They voted to attack Earth," Ben said. "Seems pretty clear to me." "No," Keth Vol said. He shook his crystal head. "They voted to wake something that should stay sleeping. Commander, you must warn your world. The Zephyrians are sending their 7th fleet. It is the largest battle fleet in the galaxy." Lisa stepped forward. "How large?" 200 capital ships. Over 1,000 support vessels. Enough firepower to destroy entire star systems. Keth Vol's eyes grew brighter. "But that is not what worries me most." Jake felt cold fear in his stomach. "What worries you most?" Keth Vol looked around to make sure no one was listening. Then he leaned closer. "My people have studied humanity for many years. We know your history. We know about your wars. We know what you do when someone threatens your home." "And?" Jake asked. "The Council sees you as children, young and weak. They think one show of force will make you submit." Keth Vol's crystal body seemed to dim. "They have no idea what humans become when they are cornered. They have no idea what you are capable of when someone threatens your families." Ben laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "You think we can fight the 7th Fleet?" "I think the 7th Fleet has no idea what it's about to face," Keth Vol said. "Commander Miller, I have seen the records of your species. Your wars, your ability to turn peaceful tools into weapons, your refusal to surrender even when defeat seems certain. Jake studied the alien's face. Why are you telling us this? Your people voted with us, but you didn't speak up much in the council. Kethval was quiet for a moment. Because some of us remember the last time the galaxy underestimated a young species. It did not end well for the established powers. What do you mean? Lisa asked. That is a story for another time. Right now you must go. Warn your people. Prepare them. Kethval turned to leave, then stopped. Commander, there is something else you should know. What? The Zephyrians expect this to be over quickly. They plan to destroy your fleet and force your surrender in one battle. They have told the Council that Earth will submit within 3 days. Jake felt his anger return. 3 days? 3 days, Kethval repeated. They are that confident in their victory. Ben spat on the deck. We'll see about that. Kethval nodded slowly. Yes, we will see. He looked at each human carefully. I hope when this is over, there will still be reasonable beings left to talk to. The alien walked away, his crystal body reflecting the lights of the docking bay. Jake watched him go, then turned to his team. How long to get back to Earth, he asked Ben. 3 weeks if we push the engines hard, Ben said. Then we push them hard. Jake looked at Lisa. Start sending coded messages to Earth Command, tell them what's coming. What should I tell them? Lisa asked. Jake looked back toward the council chambers where the aliens were probably celebrating their vote. Tell them the galaxy just made the biggest mistake in its history. Tell them to get ready for war. The 3 humans boarded their ship. The engines started with a low rumble. As the Liberty's Edge pulled away from the station, Jake took one last look at the council building. Soon those aliens would learn something important about humans. When you threaten their home, they don't just fight back. They fight like their lives depend on it, because they do. The ship jumped to faster-than-light speed, racing toward Earth with its warning. Behind them, the Galactic Council finished making their plans. In 3 weeks, the Zephyrian 7th Fleet would arrive at Earth. They expected an easy victory. They were about to learn how wrong they could be. Admiral Kate Morgan stood in the command center of Luna Station. Earth hung in the black space before her like a blue and white jewel. 3 weeks had passed since Jake Miller's warning arrived. 3 weeks of the most intense preparation in human history. Status report, Kate said to her staff. Captain Tony Davis looked up from his console. All Earth defense fleets are in position. Mars defense grid is online. The asteroid belt installations are ready. Kate nodded. Around her, dozens of officers worked at their stations. The command center buzzed with activity. Everyone knew what was coming. The largest alien battle fleet ever assembled was heading for Earth. What about the civilian evacuations? Kate asked. Completed yesterday, said Commander Lisa Wells from Mars. Her voice came through the communication system. All non-essential personnel have been moved to the inner colonies. The Home Guard units are standing by. Kate felt proud of her species. When the warning came, there had been no panic, no chaos, just quiet determination and hard work. Humans knew how to face a crisis. On Earth below, President Alex Thompson was addressing the Global Assembly. Kate could see the speech on one of her screens. The president looked calm and strong. My fellow humans, President Thompson said, in a few hours we will face the greatest threat in our history. An alien fleet is coming to destroy our world. They think we are weak. They think we will surrender without a fight. The camera showed the faces of the assembly members, men and women from every nation on Earth. All of them looked determined. They are wrong, the president continued. We have faced challenges before. We have survived ice ages and plagues. We have ended wars and built peace. We have reached for the stars and made them our home. We will not bow to alien masters. Kate switched off the screen. She had work to do. The defense of Earth would not be won by speeches. It would be won by preparation and courage. Admiral, said Dr. Sam Blake over the communication system. He was calling from the research station near Jupiter. The new weapons are ready for deployment. All of them? Kate asked. Every single one. My team has been working around the clock. Dr. Amy Foster finished the antimatter torpedo programming this morning. Dr. Rick Stone completed the drone fighter protocols an hour ago. Kate smiled grimly. The scientists had been busy. For 20 years, Earth's researchers had developed weapons that were too dangerous to use. Technologies that violated peace treaties. Devices that could kill millions. Now those weapons would be put to use. What about the industrial report? Kate asked. Captain Joe Hayes answered from the asteroid belt. All mining operations have been converted to military production. We're producing new ships faster than we ever thought possible. Captain Nick Carter's team has converted 15 cargo haulers into assault vessels just today. Kate was amazed. Human industry was like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. When humans needed something built, they built it fast, and they built it well. The Alien Council had given them 3 weeks to prepare. It might have been the biggest mistake in galactic history, ma'am, said Lieutenant Mark Taylor from the sensor station. We're getting reports from the outer system. Long-range sensors show something big coming. Kate's heart began to beat faster. How big? Bigger than anything we've ever seen. The computer estimates over 1,000 ships. The command center went quiet. Even though they had been expecting it, the reality was still shocking. 1,000 enemy ships was more than anyone had imagined. Orders, Admiral? Asked Captain Davis. Kate looked at Earth one more time. Millions of people lived on that world. They were counting on her to protect them. She would not let them down. Send the signal to all units. Operation Defiance begins now. Across the solar system, human ships received the message. Captain Ryan Davis led his fighter squadron away from Earth orbit. His pilots included Lieutenant Susan Clark and Lieutenant Mark Taylor. They were heading for the outer system to begin hit-and-run attacks. Remember, Ryan told his pilots over the radio. We're not trying to stop them out there. We're trying to make them angry. Make them careless, make them think they're fighting scared children instead of trained warriors. Near Jupiter, Commander Elena Rodriguez prepared the Ghost Fleet for action. 50 ships hid behind asteroids and moons. They would stay hidden until the aliens got close. Then they would strike from behind. Captain Steve Wilson checked the weapons. On his experimental ship, the Wildfire. His vessel carried the first antimatter torpedoes ever built by humans. Each torpedo could destroy an entire alien cruiser. He had 12 of them. This is it, people, Kate announced to the entire defense force. Today we find out what humans can do when someone threatens our home. Today we show the galaxy that Earth is not helpless. Today we fight for everything we hold dear. Guardian. Fleet appeared on the sensors like a swarm of angry insects. War Marshal Vexthon led them in his massive flagship. The aliens expected to find a small, frightened defense force. Instead, they found something else entirely. Admiral Jake Miller had returned from the Galactic Council just in time for the battle. His ship, the Liberty's Edge, took position with the main fleet near Jupiter. Jake, Kate said over the radio. Good to have you back. Good to be back, Jake replied. How do we look? Kate smiled. Around her, the command center hummed with activity. Every human in the solar system was ready for battle. They had turned their entire civilization into a weapon. We look ready, Kate said. The alien fleet moved closer. They sent a message demanding Earth's immediate surrender. Kate read the message and laughed. Send them our reply, she told her communication officer. The message was simple. Come and take it. War Marshal Vexthon received the human reply on his flagship. He was not impressed. The long-range sensors showed only 50 human ships waiting for him. 50 ships against his 1,000. It would be over in minutes. All ships prepare for attack, Vexthon ordered. Destroy the human fleet. Then we will deal with their planet. But as the alien fleet moved into the inner solar system, something strange happened. The asteroids around Jupiter began to move. What the aliens thought was empty space suddenly filled with enemy ships. Sir, said an alien officer, we're detecting more human vessels. Many more. Vexthon looked at his sensors. In confusion, the 50 ships had become 100, then 200. New human vessels appeared from everywhere. Behind asteroids, from hidden bases, emerging from the shadows of moons. "How many ships do these humans have?" Vexthon demanded. "Unknown, sir. Our sensors are having trouble getting an accurate count." For the first time since leaving alien space, Vexthon felt a touch of worry. The intelligence report said humans had a small fleet, but what he saw before him was much larger than expected. "No matter," he said. "We still outnumber them 5-1. Attack!" The Zephyrian fleet moved forward, ready to crush the human defenders. They expected an easy victory. They were about to learn that humans had been preparing for this moment for much longer than anyone knew. The battle for Earth was about to begin. War Marshal Vexthon thought the first day had been bad. The second day was worse. Much worse. The humans did not wait for the aliens to reorganize. As soon as the sun rose over Earth, the attack began again. But this time, the humans were not defending. They were hunting. Captain Tony Miller led his ship through the wreckage of alien vessels. His crew was boarding damaged enemy ships and taking prisoners. But that was not the scary part. The scary part was how they fought. "Sir," reported an alien survivor to Vexthon over the radio. "The humans don't fight like any species we know. They move through our ships like ghosts. They know exactly where to strike to disable our systems." Vexthon listened to the report with growing horror. The humans seemed to understand alien technology better than the aliens themselves. Colonel Lisa Brooks coordinated ground assaults on alien-held positions throughout the outer system. Her soldiers used weapons that seemed to come from nightmares, powered armor that made them stronger than any alien, weapons that could punch through any defense. "How do they know our weak points?" asked one alien commander before his base was overrun. The answer came from Dr. Sam Blake's research station. For 20 years, human scientists had studied every piece of alien technology they could find. They knew how alien ships were built. They knew where alien armor was thickest and where it was thin. They had prepared for this war longer than anyone imagined. "Release Phase 2 of the drone program," Dr. Blake ordered. Dr. Amy Foster pressed a button. Across the solar system, hidden factories began producing more drone fighters. But these were different from the first ones. These drones could think. They could learn. They could adapt to enemy tactics. What started as thousands of drone fighters became tens of thousands. The small ships swarmed over the alien fleet like a plague of metal insects. When the aliens destroyed one drone, 2 more appeared to take its place. "Sir," reported Vexthon's tactical officer, "the human drones are reproducing themselves. Our computers estimate there will be over 1 million of them within 3 days. Vexthon stared at the report. 1 million? "Yes, sir. And they're getting smarter. Each new generation learns from the mistakes of the previous one." The War Marshal realized that the humans had not just built weapons. They had built weapons that could build more weapons. It was a kind of warfare that the galaxy had never seen before. Lieutenant Commander Paul Anderson received the most dangerous mission of the war. His job was to destroy the alien command ship. He volunteered knowing he would probably die. "Sir," said Sergeant Kelly Brown, "my team wants to go with you." Paul looked at his soldiers. They all knew this was a suicide mission, but they all wanted to go anyway. That was what humans did. When the mission was important, they found people willing to die for it. "All right," Paul said. "Let's go show these aliens what humans do when we're really angry." Paul's team included Corporal Mike Johnson and 8 other volunteers. They used a captured alien shuttle to approach the enemy command ship. The aliens thought it was one of their own vessels returning from battle. By the time the aliens realized their mistake, it was too late. Paul's team was already inside the ship, moving toward the command center with weapons that could cut through any obstacle. The fighting inside the alien ship was brutal. Paul's team moved like trained killers. They had studied the layout of alien vessels for years. They knew exactly where to go and what to destroy. "Tell Admiral Morgan," Paul said over his radio as explosions rocked the alien ship. "Tell her we got the job done." The alien command ship exploded in a ball of fire. Vexthon barely escaped in a smaller vessel. Paul Anderson and his entire team died in the explosion, but their sacrifice opened the way for the final phase of the human attack. Admiral Kate Morgan had been waiting for this moment. With the alien command ship destroyed, their fleet was confused and leaderless. It was time to reveal humanity's greatest secret. "Dr. Blake," Kate said over the communication system. "It's time." "Are you sure?" Dr. Blake asked. "Once we show them this, there's no going back. I'm sure. Show them what Earth really is." Across the planet Earth, hidden doors opened. Weapons that had been built into the planet itself rose from underground bunkers. Orbital defense platforms that had been disguised as space stations revealed their true purpose. The aliens realized with horror that Earth was not just a planet, it was a fortress. The entire world had been converted into the largest military base in the galaxy. Weapons fired from Earth's surface toward the alien fleet. Each shot could destroy a cruiser. There were hundreds of these weapons, all aimed at the enemy. "Sir," reported an alien officer to Vexthon, "the planet itself is shooting at us." "That's impossible," Vexthon said. "No, sir. Look at the sensors. The humans have turned their entire world into a weapon." But the humans were not finished. "Captain." Dan Roberts had been waiting in the shadows with humanity's most secret project. His ship was called the Ragnarok, and it carried weapons that should not have existed. "This is Ragnarok," Dan announced over the radio. "Beginning final approach." Dan's ship was powered by a controlled black hole. The energy it produced was beyond anything the aliens had imagined. When the Ragnarok fired its main weapon, an entire section of the alien fleet simply ceased to exist. "What was that?" Vexthon screamed. "Unknown, sir. The energy readings are impossible. No species should be able to control that much power." Dan fired again. More alien ships vanished. The enemy fleet began to break apart as ships tried to escape the terrible human weapons. War Marshal Vexthon sent a desperate message to any alien ship that could hear him. "All vessels retreat immediately. Do not engage the human forces. Repeat, do not engage." But it was too late for retreat. The humans had surrounded the alien fleet. There was nowhere to run. Admiral Jake Miller led the final assault. His converted cargo ships moved in for the kill. Behind him came every human vessel in the solar system. The aliens were trapped. "This is Admiral Miller to all alien vessels," Jake announced. "Surrender now or be destroyed. You have 60 seconds to decide." Vexthon looked at what remained of his fleet. He had lost over half his ships. His command structure was in ruins. His soldiers were beaten and demoralized. "Sir," said his remaining officers, "what are your orders?" Vexthon thought about the proud fleet that had left alien space just days before. They had come to punish a young species for breaking galactic law. Instead, they had found something that would haunt the galaxy for generations. "Send the surrender signal," Vexthon said quietly. The signal went out to all surviving alien ships. The battle was over. The mighty Seventh Fleet had been defeated by the species they had come to conquer. But Admiral Morgan was not finished with them yet. The aliens would learn one final lesson about humanity before they were allowed to leave. "Attention, alien vessels," Kate announced. "Your surrender is accepted. But before you leave our solar system, you will see something. You will see what happens to those who threaten our home." The surviving aliens were about to witness the true power of humanity, and they would carry that memory back to the Galactic Council. The war was almost over, but the real lesson was just beginning. The first shots of the battle came from the alien fleet. Bright beams of energy reached across space toward the human ships. War Marshal Vexthon watched from his command ship as his weapons fired. He expected to see human vessels explode and die. Instead, something unexpected happened. The human ships scattered like birds. They moved in ways that confused the alien gunners. Instead of forming a battle line like civilized species, they darted and weaved through space. "What are they doing?" asked Vexthon's second-in-command. Captain Ryan Davis led his fighter squadron in the first attack. His small ships dove toward the alien fleet like hunting hawks. Lieutenant Susan Clark flew beside him, her fighter loaded with experimental missiles. "Remember what we learned in the history books," Ryan said over the radio. Hit them hard, hit them fast, then get out before they can hit back. The human fighters struck the alien formation and disappeared before the enemy could respond. 3. Alien ships suffered damage. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Lieutenant Mark Taylor brought his squadron around for another pass. They're trying to turn their big ships to face us, too slow. We'll be gone before they can aim. Admiral Kate Morgan watched the battle from Luna Station. The human fighters were doing exactly what they were supposed to do. They were making the aliens angry and frustrated. Phase 2, Kate ordered. Hidden among the asteroids near Jupiter, Commander Elena Rodriguez waited for her signal. When it came, she smiled. All ships, this is Ghost Leader. Time to show ourselves. 50 human warships suddenly appeared from behind asteroids and moons. The aliens had not seen them coming. The Ghost Fleet opened fire on the alien formation, from the side. War Marshal Vex Thon stared at his tactical display in shock. Where did those ships come from? Unknown, sir. They must have been hiding behind the large asteroids. More human ships appeared. Then more. What had looked like an asteroid field was actually a military base. Hidden weapons platforms opened fire. Missile launchers that had been disguised as space rocks began shooting. Sir, said an alien officer, his voice shaking, we count over 200 human vessels now. And more are still appearing. Vex Thon felt the first real fear of his military career. The intelligence reports had been wrong. Very wrong. The humans had not built a small defense fleet. They had turned their entire solar system into a fortress. Captain Steve Wilson chose this moment to reveal humanity's newest weapon. His ship, the Wildfire, accelerated toward the alien fleet. In his weapons bay, 12 antimatter torpedoes waited to be fired. This is for everyone they threatened, Steve said quietly. The first antimatter torpedo struck an alien cruiser. The ship simply vanished in a ball of pure energy. The explosion was so bright that sensors across the solar system registered it. The second torpedo destroyed another cruiser. The third took out a battleship. What kind of weapons are those? Vex Thon shouted. Unknown technology, sir. The energy readings are off our scales. Steve fired 3 more torpedoes. 3 more alien ships died. The enemy formation began to break apart as ships tried to avoid the deadly human weapons. Admiral Jake Miller brought his ship, the Liberty's Edge, into the battle. He led a group of converted cargo ships that had been turned into assault vessels. They looked nothing like proper warships, but they carried enough firepower to hurt the enemy. All human ships, this is Admiral Miller, Jake announced over the press to show these aliens what happens when they threaten our home. The converted cargo ships opened fire with weapons that should not have existed. Mining lasers that had been turned into ship killers. Industrial cutting tools that could slice through alien armor. Construction equipment that fired chunks of metal at incredible speeds. Dr. Sam Blake watched the battle from his research station. His weapons were working perfectly. 20 years of secret research was paying off. Amy, he said to Dr. Amy Foster, release the drone fighters. All of them, Amy asked. Every single one. What started as 50 drone fighters quickly became 500, then 5,000. The small robotic ships swarmed over the alien fleet like angry bees. Each drone was small and weak, but there were so many of them that the aliens could not shoot them all down. War Marshal Vex Thon tried to count the enemy forces attacking his fleet. It was impossible. New human ships kept appearing. Weapons fired from locations that should have been empty space. The asteroid field seemed to be alive with hidden enemies. Sir, we need reinforcements, said his tactical officer. Reinforcements? Vex Thon stared at the officer. We brought the largest fleet in galactic history. How can we need reinforcements? The humans have more ships than we expected. Much more. Captain Tony Davis led a boarding action against an alien destroyer. His Marines used equipment that the aliens had never seen before. Cutting tools that could slice through any metal. Personal shields that stopped alien weapons. Armor that made humans look like metal monsters. The alien crew surrendered after 10 minutes. They had never faced enemies like these humans. Colonel Lisa Brooks coordinated attacks throughout the outer solar system. Human forces struck alien, supply ships and support vessels. Every attack was planned and executed perfectly. They fight like they've been preparing for this exact battle, one alien captain reported to Vexthon. The war marshal was beginning to understand the truth. The humans had not just built a defense fleet. They had spent years planning for this moment. They had studied alien tactics and prepared counters for everything. "Sir," said a communications officer, "we're receiving a message from the human fleet." Admiral Kate Morgan's voice filled the alien command ship. "War Marshal Vexthon, this is Admiral Morgan of the Earth Defense Force. You came here expecting to find helpless victims. Instead, you found warriors. This is your only chance to surrender." Vexthon laughed, but it was not a confident sound. "Surrender? We still outnumber your ships." "Do you?" Kate asked. "Count again." Vexthon looked at his tactical display. The human forces had grown again. More ships appeared from hidden bases throughout the solar system. What had started as 50 enemy vessels was now over 400. "How is this possible?" Vexthon whispered. His science officer provided the answer. "Sir, our intelligence was completely wrong. The humans have been building ships and weapons for decades. This entire solar system is one massive military installation, the E. Battle raged for 6 more hours. Every time the aliens thought they understood what they were facing, the humans revealed something new. More weapons, more ships, more tactics that the aliens had never encountered. As alien ships began to retreat toward the outer system, Admiral Morgan sent one final message. "Tell your Galactic Council something, War Marshal. Tell them that Earth remembers every threat. Tell them that humans do not forgive attacks on their families. And tell them that this was just the beginning." Vexthon looked at his battered fleet. He had lost over 100 ships. The humans had lost less than 20. "Sir," said his communications officer, "should I send the message?" Vexthon stared at the tactical display. The human forces were not pursuing his retreating ships. They were forming up for the next phase of the battle, whatever that might be. "Send the message," he said quietly, "and tell them to send more ships, many more ships." The first day of the battle was over. The aliens had learned their first lesson about humanity. When humans said they would defend their home, they meant it. But the war was just beginning. War Marshal Vexthon sat in his damaged command chair and watched his fleet surrender. Of the 1,000 ships that had come to conquer Earth, less than 400 remained. The rest were dead metal floating in space or had been captured by human forces. "Sir," said his communications officer, "the humans are sending boarding parties to all our ships." "Let them come," Vexthon said tiredly. "We have no fight left." But the humans who boarded the alien ships were not soldiers. They were doctors and engineers. They came to treat alien wounded and repair damaged life support systems. Even in victory, the humans showed mercy to their defeated enemies. Admiral Kate Morgan stood on the bridge of her flagship and looked at the alien fleet. She felt no joy in their defeat. War was never something to celebrate, but she felt pride in what humanity had accomplished. "Admiral," said Captain Tony Davis, "President Thompson is requesting a meeting with the alien commander." "Bring him up," Kate said. President Alex Thompson arrived on the flagship with a small group of advisors. Dr. Lisa Carter was with him. She had been studying alien psychology since the first contact years ago. "What do we do with them?" the president asked Kate. "We show them the truth," Kate replied. "We show them what they really attacked." Vexthon was brought to the human flagship, under guard. He expected to be executed or tortured. Instead, he found himself in a clean, comfortable room facing the human leaders. "War Marshal," President Thompson said, "I want you to understand something. This war did not have to happen. We never wanted to fight you." Vexthon looked at the human president. "Then why did you resist? Why did you not simply surrender?" Dr. Carter answered. "Because humans do not surrender when someone threatens our families. It's not in our nature." "Your nature?" Vexthon asked. "Let me show you," Kate said. The humans gave Vexthon a tour of their facilities. First, they took him to Luna Station. The alien commander saw the massive shipyards where humans built their vessels. Workers moved like ants, constructing new ships even while the battle was being fought. How long have you been building this? Vexthon asked. 20 years, Kate answered. Since our first contact with your people, we knew this day might come. We prepared for it. Next, they showed him the research stations. Dr. Sam Blake explained how human scientists had worked day and night to develop new weapons and technologies. We study everything, Dr. Blake said. Every piece of alien technology we can find, every tactic used in galactic wars. We learn from everyone and everything. Vexthon began to understand. You have been preparing for war with the entire galaxy. Not war, President Thompson corrected. Defense. We prepared to defend ourselves against anyone who thought we were weak. They showed him the training academies on Mars. Human soldiers practiced fighting in every environment. They learned to use alien weapons better than aliens themselves. They studied the weaknesses of every known species. Your soldiers fight, like they have been at war for generations, Vexthon observed. In a way we have, said Colonel Lisa Brooks. Humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years. We know how to fight, we know how to win. But the most shocking revelation came when they showed him Earth itself. The planet was covered with hidden military installations. Weapons that could destroy entire fleets were built into mountains and ocean floors. Your entire world is a fortress, Vexthon said in amazement. Every human world is a fortress, Kate replied. Mars, the colonies, the mining stations. We don't just defend one planet. We defend our entire civilization. Vexthon realized that the Galactic Council had made a terrible mistake. They had not attacked a young, weak species. They had attacked the most dangerous military force in the galaxy. How many ships do you really have? He asked. More than you saw, Admiral Jake Miller answered. What you fought was just our home defense fleet. We have other fleets exploring the galaxy. They're already on their way back to Earth. How many more? Enough, Jake said simply. As they completed the tour, Ambassador Keth Vall arrived with a delegation from the Galactic Council. The crystal alien looked tired and worried. President Thompson, Keth Vall said, the Council has voted to end this war immediately. They are offering a complete surrender. Surrender? President Thompson asked. We don't want your surrender. We want something else. What do you want? Respect, Thompson said firmly. We want the galaxy to understand that humanity is not a species to be threatened or attacked. We want our place among the galactic powers. Keth Vall nodded slowly. You have earned that place. The Council will recognize Earth as a major galactic power. They will grant you full membership and voting rights. And the Zephyrians? Kate asked. Keth Vall looked at Vexthon. They will pay reparations for starting this war. Their military will be reduced. They will not threaten anyone again. For a very long time, but President Thompson had one more surprise for the alien delegation. We're not just defending anymore, he announced. Humanity is expanding into the galaxy. We're establishing colonies and trade routes. We're building alliances with species that want peace. You're expanding? Keth Vall asked. The galaxy thought we were hiding in our home system, Admiral Morgan said. But we were actually studying and preparing. Now we're ready to take our place among the stars. The aliens were shown recordings of human ships already exploring distant star systems, colony ships heading for new worlds, trading vessels making contact with friendly species. How long have you been planning this? Vexthon asked. Since the day we first learned we weren't alone in the universe, President Thompson replied. We knew that someday we would have to defend ourselves. But we also knew that we would eventually reach for the stars. As the alien delegates prepared to leave, Dr. Carter made one final point. You made a mistake when you decided to attack us, she said to Vexthon, but it wasn't the mistake you think it was. What do you mean? You think your mistake was underestimating our military strength, but that's not it. Your real mistake was giving us a reason to come out of our home system in force. Vexthon felt a chill of fear. What do you mean? We were content to stay in our own space and develop slowly, Dr. Carter explained. But you attacked our home, you threatened our families. Now we have to make sure that never happens again. How will you do that? Admiral Morgan answered. By making sure everyone in the galaxy knows what happens when you threaten humanity. by establishing a presence strong enough that no one will ever attack us again. The alien delegation left Earth with a new understanding of humanity. They carried with them the memory of the most devastating military defeat in galactic history. 6 months later, Admiral Kate Morgan stood on the observation deck of Luna Station and watched human ships patrol the solar system. The war had changed everything. Humanity was no longer hiding among the stars. They were claiming their place as a galactic power. Admiral Jake Miller joined her at the observation window. "Do you think they'll try again?" Jake asked. Kate smiled. "Let them try, we'll be ready." "More ready than this time?" "Much more ready. We've learned a lot about galactic warfare in the past 6 months. Our new ships are better. Our weapons are stronger. Our alliances are growing." Jake watched as a fleet of human exploration ships prepared to leave the solar system. They carried scientists and diplomats as well as soldiers. Humanity was going to the stars, but they were going in force. "What do you think the galaxy will look like in 10 years? Jake asked. Kate considered the question. "Different. Much different. The old powers won't be able to push around younger species anymore. Not with humanity standing guard." A communication came through the station's speakers. "Admiral Morgan, this is Captain Dan Roberts on the Ragnarok. We're ready to depart for the Kepler sector." "Acknowledged, Captain. Good hunting." "Thank you, ma'am. The galaxy is about to learn that humans keep their promises. Both the good ones and the bad ones." As Kate watched the human fleet disappear into faster-than-light travel, she thought about the future. The galaxy had tried to burn humanity to ash. Instead, they had awakened something that would change the balance of power forever. The age of humanity among the stars had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. From across the solar system, hidden sensors watched for any sign of new alien threats. Human colonies were spreading to new worlds. Trading ships were making contact with peaceful species. And always, the human military stood ready to defend what they had built. The aliens had wanted to teach humanity a lesson about respecting galactic law. Instead, they had learned something about human nature that they would never forget. When you threaten a human's home, they don't just fight back. They make sure you never threaten anyone again. The war was over, but humanity's watch had just begun.